It is a new year, and for a lot of people that means a fresh start. Typically taking a break over the holiday season, you want to make sure you start your new year right. That's why in this video, I want to go over my goals for this year, my schedule, my nutrition, my workouts, some of the things that have really helped me achieve the physique I have today, and also some of the mistakes I made along the way. And hopefully some of this stuff can help you along your fitness journey. Now, before we get to the rest of the video, I just want to take this time to give a thanks to TLF for helping to make this video possible. They got some great clothing and you can find them at tlfapparel.com. And if you pick anything up, make sure you use our code TLF-BUFF to get 15% off. Link is in the description. Yeah. It's Sunday morning and I am just having a quick breakfast. A couple of eggs, a cup of egg whites, and some bread and peanut butter. Now, I'll typically take the weekend off from any kind of working out, so that means I'll go a little bit lower in my calories just because I'm not using as much energy as I usually do with my workout days. But also because I have today off, I want to pick up a few things to prep for next week's schedule. And one is a specific tool that's really going to help get my schedule on track. And I also need to pick up some food items as well. So let's get to it. There is one thing I really started noticing at the end of last year is I was being very inconsistent with my food, my workouts, and I could really start to tell not only in my physique, but the way I felt, my motivation, and I didn't like it. So that's one thing I want to work on this year is being more consistent with my food and also my workouts, because I know from past experience, that's when you get the most results and the most results I've ever gotten as well. Because my goal right now is to get my muscle mass up back to where it typically was or can be and what I feel best at. Right now I'm a little bit lighter, about 215, 217. You know, I feel really good around 225, 230 pounds, and that really can only happen if my food is at the right place, my macros, my calories, and also my workouts. And it's not that hard. It just takes a little discipline. It takes a little work. And that's why you kind of have to look back and to see what worked in the beginning. And sometimes you just have to go back to basics and remember what worked in the beginning. And one thing I remember that worked really well was barbecuing my food. I can make a ton of it. I love the taste of it, so that's exactly what I'm gonna be doing. I'm gonna pick up a barbecuer, I'm gonna pick up the food, I'm gonna make a bunch of it. So I just picked up the barbecuer and now it's time to head to the grocery store and grab some food. Thankfully, I don't need a lot. I'm just gonna grab some meat, some Greek yogurt, and some fruit to start food prepping for next week. I'm gonna cook a lot of the meat on the barbecuer, so that's gonna be a lot of fun. And then I'm also gonna be prepping some overnight oats for my breakfast for next week. Okay, so we're gonna start prepping this chicken, and I bought some chicken breast, but I'm gonna be actually cutting it into more of like a chicken tender size. I like it that size, that bite size. It's easier to measure out, it's easier to eat. Feels like you can have it as a snack or make a meal out of it. You can obviously buy chicken tenders, but I just like the consistency of chicken breast more. It's less stringy and it doesn't have like that tendon down the side. So I'll just take a little time cutting it up, and it takes a little bit longer, but I just like a little bit more. And I'm gonna be marinating it in two different sauces and two different tastes and flavors. One is just gonna be like a hot wings flavor, and the other one's just gonna be a barbecue sauce. And I kind of recommend this. That way you can cook a lot of it, but it's a different flavor, so you can kind of switch back and forth and it doesn't get too boring after a while, especially if you're cooking chicken that'll last you up to 4 to 5 days, depending on how much chicken you're gonna be eating. While that chicken is marinating, I'm gonna be prepping my breakfast, which is gonna be the overnight oats recipe. I love this one, use it many times, and I'm continuing to use it. And some of the things you're gonna need for this is gonna be some mason jars or some kind of containers with a lid. The size really depends on the serving size you're going with. I'm actually getting the recipe straight out of our Buff Dudes cookbook, so I'm just gonna be going by those measurements, and it's gonna give me the exact calories and macros, which is great. I'm gonna change it up a little bit because I'm gonna be adding a few different toppings to change the flavor, much like marinating the chicken. I don't wanna get too bored of the flavor of the overnight oats, so I'm gonna be adding different fruits to it. I'm gonna do some cinnamon in one, and I'm also gonna do some maybe peanut butter in another one. That will change the calories. It will, make the calories a little bit higher, change the macros, either more carbs or fats. But that's the great thing about this, is very customizable. So you can really choose what you want, how many calories and macros you want in each one, but very easy to make and very fast, which is why I like it. And we're gonna be making 5 different ones, so that way it's gonna take care of our entire weekdays, and we don't even have to think about breakfast. We can grab it, have it on the go, and it is delicious. So that was it. Breakfast is completely prepped for 5 days. Now that's pretty amazing. Honestly, it probably took only about 5 minutes. So if anyone says they don't have enough time to prep their food, well, you should definitely try overnight oats, because it is extremely fast. And now, the chicken has been marinating for a while. We're gonna throw it on the barbecuer and cook the chicken up. So there we go, the chicken is done, and I'll probably go ahead and cook up some rice and also the Brussels sprouts. I probably won't portion everything out right now. I'll just leave them in big containers and be able to portion them out later. But that takes care of my food prep. And some people might wonder, well, do I have to buy a barbecuer? And no, definitely not. You can just use your oven, or like I did for so many years, was a George Foreman grill, because I didn't really have the confidence for either a barbecuer or the oven. So I just used a George Foreman grill. I was pretty young, so I was like, it's way easier that way. But if you're fortunate enough and you can afford a nice barbecuer, damn man, this stuff tastes amazing. You can cook a ton of chicken all at once, or really anything, burgers, steak, whatever. So a huge bonus. But there we go. I am ready for Monday, so I will see you then. So it is currently Monday morning. I got up pretty early this morning because I want to hit some fasted cardio for around 30-45 minutes or so. And someone has definitely helped me do this morning. And you'll probably see him right there. You ready to do some fast cardio? You want to go? Now the question always comes up, is cardio necessary to lose weight, get leaner? And it really kind of all depends. I mean, it depends on your activity level throughout the day. If you have a very active job, you're on your feet all day, you're burning quite a few calories. And especially if your workouts are on point and consistent, and your diet is nailed down, where you're having the proper amount of calories and nutrients, well, cardio might not really be that necessary for you to lose weight, get leaner, or even stay lean. But if you have a little bit more of a sedentary job or daily kind of schedule, cardio might be necessary, because you're really not burning that much, and you want to make sure that you're being active enough where you don't have to eat too little amount of calories throughout the day. And of course, you can get a lot of activity throughout your workouts, but cardio might just be a little cherry on top that can help you out quite a bit. You know, I used to be very active in my daily schedule, doing construction 8-10 hours a day on my feet. And funny enough, I still included like cardio in the morning and also sometimes in the evening too. So like up to an hour plus of cardio. And was that necessary? Probably not, because it just forced me to eat a hell of a lot more food. I was having like 3,500 calories a day to maintain the physique I had. So if you like food, cardio might be a good way to combat that. But you know, now I don't have quite as an active job. You know, I'm sitting a lot more than I used to. So I think for me, cardio is definitely necessary, not only to help keep my activity levels higher, but also just because for me, it's just a mental health thing. I mean, you get outdoors, you're outside, you get fresh air, you get to see the joy in your dog sniffing around trying to find critters. And, you know, you can listen to music, a podcast, an audiobook, whatever it is. And so that's why I continue to include cardio in my schedule, specifically in the morning for sure. So cardio's done, and now it's time to break the fast with the delicious overnight oats we made yesterday. After that, I'm just gonna make a quick protein shake because I'm meeting up with my brother for a workout.
Lately our gym has been a little messy, but this time we have a really good reason for it because we like to do one big project a year, and this year we're going to be doing a concept trailer to the King Conan movie. In the 80s, at the end of Conan the Barbarian, Conan the Destroyer, they always ended with Arnold on the throne as an older Conan, but they never made a movie about what happened. Well, we're going to do that exact thing. Pretty spectacular. We got a few really big surprises up our sleeve, and I think you're really gonna enjoy it. Look for it soon.
Like 23 inches.
One day, technology will be available in order to fully capture the scope, depth, and texture of me and Brandon's biceps. When that day comes,
maybe even the flavor.
They taste good.
Workout is done. That felt pretty damn good. Those back and biceps workouts always get a good pump. And now it's time for the post-workout protein shake. Protein shake is just super convenient, honestly. So I'll usually have a couple a day, one after the workout and one between lunch and dinner. So after this, probably within an hour or two, gonna have some lunch, which is all ready and prepped, the chicken, rice, and Brussels sprouts. Currently having my lunch right now, and I have my calories set at around 2,700 calories with a 40-40-20 split. Which is 40% protein, 40% carbs, and 20% fat. Sometimes I can vary. I can go over, under my protein, carbs, or fat, but as long as I stick close enough, I'm gonna be happy. Now, some people might wonder, that's not that many calories, and that is true. I'm starting at a lower amount of calories, and I'm gonna slowly increase the calories over time. So week by week, I'm gonna go up a little bit depending on how I look and how I feel. And that's one mistake I've made in the past where I'll immediately bump up my calories 3,000, 3,500 thinking, well, more is better. It's gonna gain that much faster, a lot more muscle that way. And that's not always the case. If you bombard your body with those calories and macros, sometimes you can gain a pretty decent amount of body fat percentage. And that was one of the mistakes I made. I would kind of do those extreme bulks to try to put on as much weight as possible, and it wasn't always a good thing. So this time around, I'm fixing that by trying to stay as lean as I possibly can while putting weight on. I'm just gonna really pay attention to how I feel and look throughout these weeks, throughout these months, and have that patience. I know I'm in it for the long haul, 3 months, 6 months, up to a year, to see how I look and eventually work up to around maybe 3,000 calories, 3,200 calories, depending on my activity levels. And rounding out my meals is gonna be a snack, a protein shake, some rice cakes and peanut butter, and then for dinner, I'm gonna poach some salmon and have the rice and Brussels sprouts that I prepared the previous day. But that's pretty much it. And as you can tell, it's pretty damn simple, but it's all about putting in the reps, being consistent with it. And I hope this video helped you out in some kind of small way. Either you learned something and entertained you, or maybe it just motivated you. But either way, hopefully you enjoyed it. And as always, stay buff.